Finally, we get what I believe is the final video in the Don't Hug Me I'm Scared series. Don't Hug Me I'm Scared 6. This final video really helped me understand what the series has been trying to do these past few years. And I think I've just about got it figured out. Let's get started. What is up, guys? This is Cartoon Theory, and hopefully I do these videos justice. The Don't Hug Me I'm Scared series seems to be telling the story of a simple childhood. Yes, nothing more and nothing less. The deeper meaning behind these videos is that every kid goes through childhood the same, but the media and modern day technology is just ruining that experience and making kids grow up way too fast. So, the best way to explain this is to start off with Roy. For those who don't know or just watch the video to have their creepy video fetish fulfilled, I'm not judging. But this man, Roy, is the father to the yellow guy. For quite some time, Roy has been seen as this villainous, just a bad character. And from my understanding, he should be seen as a good character and not a villainous one because of what he does. Now, let me explain. Roy has been quote-unquote the mastermind of the series, and has been the one putting our main characters through all these terrible occurrences, which we can infer since he has been in every episode since episode 2 and is always in spots where a puppet master character would be. And it's revealed in episode 6 that he's been the mastermind controlling everything, but yeah. At first glance, this may be a bad thing, but by the end of the video, you'll understand why, to me, Roy's the good guy. For this to make sense, I must explain what each episode means. First off, let's take note that there is a common theme in all of these videos. And that common theme is that each video tries to explain how the media and modern day occurrences expose unwanted information to our main characters. And whether they want to know it or not, it is not up to them. This is kind of the way childhood rolls nowadays, at least in the minds of the creators of the video. This is why at the beginning of each episode, there's a leader type figure trying to guide the puppets to do things they would otherwise not do. In episode 1, the puppets, who represent children in general, are exposed to children's cartoons and TV, which is not bad on the surface. But at this point in the video, the puppets begin to realize that the shows they watch and love are not as magical as they appear. Imagine if when you were 5 years old, someone told you that Elmo was actually just a man with a hand puppet. It surely would have been devastating for a part of your childhood. In episode 2, the puppets experience how time-consuming life can be as you grow older and when you get so many things piled on. And this episode, to me at least, represents how people are growing up even if they don't want it to happen. This is a part of life. This is most likely the reason Roy was introduced in this episode and not any other one, because he represents what the puppets can look forward to once they have matured. In episode 3, we see the experience with the religion, where every kid has to make the decision to say, do I want to be in a religion or do I not, or do I want to be an atheist? It's a decision we all make or possibly do not make. Episode 4 explains how easy it is for children nowadays to access things they should not otherwise be able to do. In this case, it's porn. No matter how much parents like it or not, children eventually find out about this just the same as how you and I found out about it. The age at which we find out may be different, but in the end we all end up like Roy, who seems to be casually browsing it. It's also important to note that this episode is where Red Guy leaves when his head explodes. This seemed to me to be like a metaphor explaining that Red Guy has reached maturity, or at least the maturity that society deems to be necessary for an adult to have, and it was just too much for him to handle. Thus, his head metaphorically explodes. Episode 5 is where we get a feel for who Roy really is, and that is because we see him overseeing the puppets in this one frame. Episode 5, in my opinion, is really just ripping on how people are obsessed with diets and stuff related to food, and how everything people claim to be good for you is really not. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard girls at school say they're on a new diet. So in a broader sense, this episode may actually be about how people believe anything the media says even if it's too good to be true, which is technically the biggest common theme seen in these videos. It's part of life and every person comes to the point where they start thinking about what they put in their body. It's very important to note that in this episode, that the duck guy leaves because he's finally experienced maturity and realizing how the real world works. Episode 6. This episode was like a revelation to me because it explains so much and will thus take up a majority of this video. First off, we see that the yellow guy is looking at a book of him and his brothers, and he's sobbing over the fact that he lost them to the real world. Now we see that Red Guy did not actually have his head explode, he actually graduated, but to the yellow guy, it's like he died because his brother is no longer with him. Also, the duck guy, from my understanding, is exploring the world. As you can see, there is still one photo of him where he's somewhere out in the world and there's sun and water. Now the reason I think the duck guy is off enjoying his life is because the red guy gave him some advice on the phone in episode 5, telling him of the real world and what it's like. After sobbing over losing his brothers to the real world, the yellow guy wants something more than to sleep, but is awakened by this lamp. The lamp, like the other antagonists shown in the series, is just trying to exploit another part of kids' lives. The media is always going to get you no matter where you are. But this time, the yellow guy is not having it, realizing that he does not want to grow up to be like his father and his brothers. Also, note that each part with the red guy is in widescreen, which is an important detail because this part is supposed to mean that it's supposed to be like a mini movie, and it's like a little head nod to the media and the movie industry, which is pretty much what these videos are fixated on. Red guy is stuck doing a boring job and the most cliche job anyone can ever have, which is working in an office cubicle, having to file paperwork. The creators of this video chose this job specifically because they knew people would get the point that red guy has reached maturity and has the same boring job as everyone else. This is why we see carbon copies of him at every desk and at the bar, because he is not like every other adult. Red guy doesn't want to be there, but he cannot cling to the past without being seen as weird. This is why when he talks about what if the folder came to life and started singing and dancing, everyone looks at him like he's crazy. This is why when he's at the bar trying to sing the song he remembers from his childhood back in the good old days, everyone boos him because he's acting like a child, which is not normal behavior for a mature adult. And this is what the creators are trying to convey. Pretty much the society and media are making people certain ways. Roy is also shown watching the red guy and seeing what the world has made him. At this point, it is revealed that Roy really has been the mastermind of the series. Now back to the point I said earlier in this video, Roy is somewhat of a hero character because I see Roy as the parent. Every parent treats their kids the same. They want to keep their children as innocent as possible. But every parent finally has to cope with the fact that eventually their kids are gonna grow up. This is why I think Roy was putting everyone through this. He wanted his son, or the yellow guy, to grow up on his terms instead of the yellow guy having to realize everything on his own, which is notably harder. Learning something on your own is always a lot more difficult and more painful than someone just telling it to you straight out. And also, this is a big detail that everyone talks about, June 19th. It's very important to know that the entirety of the franchise happened in the span of one day. Episode 1 starts out in the morning and episode 6 ends with the yellow guy going to sleep. It's one day. So the creators of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared want people to realize that from morning to midnight, people are exposed to media and cannot escape maturity. Further expanding on the idea that the media is rushing children through childhood and straight to maturity. And the ending is what it did it for me, man, because this explains how every kid goes through the same thing. The reasons we are shown the same puppets in a different color, about to go through the same experience as the other puppets, is because it shows how no matter who you are or what you are or how different you are, we're all going to grow up doing the same decisions and choices that the media and modern day technology rushes us through. Whew, that was the theory, guys. Hopefully this doesn't mark the end of Don't Hug Me I'm Scared because I really enjoy the videos and what they mean, and I hope the creators actually expand into different ideas. Comment your own opinion on what you think the series meant, because I'm really interested in reading what people think. Drop a like and subscribe. See you guys next time, and thanks for watching.